Hello, everybody. Father Scott Vanderveer here with a reflection on being chosen. When I was young, I used to dream of being chosen by God for something wonderful. Wouldn't it be great to be chosen for something that is a true honor, that would really allow me to make a huge impact on the world? I think of that a bit differently now as I'm older. When I was younger, having an impact might have meant having a name that everyone knew, or being in charge of something monumental. When we're little kids in our culture, we're told you can grow up and be anything you want. You could grow up and be president of the United States. While that is true in a democracy, it's also true that the greatest things that we could possibly be are things that we are called to be. Since we are not the makers of ourselves, we are not the manufacturers of our makeup, we can't know best what is best for us. We can know what we want and desire, and that's important, but we can't always know what it is that our life would best be used to accomplish. That is one of the things that was said to me by a woman in India who was explaining why, in her mind, for her worldview, an arranged marriage between two young people by their parents is not such a strange thing. She said, my marriage was arranged. She said, and I had no reason to believe that I knew better what was best for me than my parents, who loved me and had more life experience than I have, would. I found that to be really interesting to think about. It was kind of persuasive argument. I certainly am not involved in any way in arranging marriages, and I don't really know anyone close to me who's had an arranged marriage, but I can see the wisdom there. I can see that in our culture, there's a little bit of a domination of the sense I should be in charge of my own life. When in other cultures, there's a recognition, no, my parents, my people, my tribe, my community should tell me what I'm called to do. The people of Israel are people who are known for being chosen by God for a specific purpose. And a lot of that goes back to Abraham being chosen by God. The thing about being chosen is that it is for a purpose greater than ourselves. That's the thing that was missing in my adolescent understanding of being chosen for greatness. I now realize that being chosen for greatness involves suffering for the good of others, involves doing what is best for the whole, not for ourselves. I remember hearing a rabbi one time speaking about some of the things that the Jewish people have gone through over the years. The fact that Jewish people have suffered all sorts of hardships, things like the destruction of their temple, times of exile, times of slavery, the Holocaust. And he said, we know that we're the chosen people, and we're grateful to be loved and chosen by God. But often we ask ourselves, God, couldn't you choose someone else? Pick someone else for a change. And I think there's some wisdom to that. I think he said it with some humor and some truth. It's an honor to be chosen, but it's a burden to be chosen. That's something that we should perhaps think about. It would be easier not to be chosen. It would be easier to live a life of quiet insignificance. But we are actually called for something that is particular to our station in life. There's not one way to live a life that's better than another. There's not something more noble to do with our life if we are famous than if we are a homebound person who has a very small circle of people in our life. The impact spiritually that we can have is just as great, no matter what station in life we're in. It is also true that a person is called in a really significant way to the present moment that they are in. It is not inaccurate to say, right now, I am called to be in these woods. Or that someone drinking a cup of coffee is called to be present to that. But of course, our lives are bigger than the present moment. Still, we cannot live them any more than one moment at a time. I was once with a 104-year-old woman in one of my parishes, and I was asking her the secret to living to be 104 years old. And she said, the secret, I would say, is to live just one moment of life at a time. Just live one moment at a time. And I said, Anne, that's so wise, but how do you do it? It's so hard to do. How do you just live one moment at a time? And she goes, well, you can't live two moments at a time, can you? So just live one. She's right. My thought was that it's easier to live ahead and behind and in the moment all at once, but it's not. You can't do that. That's not real. So being present to the moment matters. Knowing who we are and whose we are matters. Responding to the call that we have matters. Whether it's a call that we would consider great or not. Whether it's a call that others would consider great or not. Every call is great. And every call on some level is a call for service. It's never a call for ourselves alone. Me, myself, and I. It's never a call to that. Because we weren't designed that way. Even if we wish for that to be true, we were not designed that way. Our manufacturer gave us an internal longing for more than that. So those are some thoughts on being called and chosen for this day. May your reading of the scriptures and your living of life continue to nourish you immensely, one day at a time. May God bless you all.